Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we'll be taking a look at a game that I played against a lower rated opponent. I was playing with the white pieces against cubes of chess rated 1600. This game occurred during a tournament on Lichess and Hourly Rapid Arena. So this was a 10 plus 0, so no increment. So have to play relatively fast here. Even though this was a game against a lower rated opponent, my opponent played extremely well. I have to give credits. And yeah, this was still a very instructive game, and I thought I'd show you guys. So I started off with e4, and opponent actually played the French defense against me. So pretty funny. I'm usually the one playing the French defense on the black side. But so I went into the advance. And so this is very standard. I must have featured this like 3 or 4 times on my channel. Just the advanced. So he knew theory up until here. No, he played queen b6. This is theory, and then after bishop e2. Now here we can see why he opponent is rated 1600. On move 6, like he's out of theory and he goes for f6, which is just bad. You don't want to like weaken your king this early in the French. You want to castle first. You don't want to leave all your pieces undeveloped on the last rank and just push all these pawns, right? So this is not the way to play the French. So I thought, fine, I'll just castle here. I'm ahead in development, and he's creating weaknesses. So then he's still not developing. He takes. Here I took with the knight, which computer liked taking with pawn better, but this is still fine. So we get takes, and now here I have a comfortable advantage because of the space I have. And here opponent played knight to e7. And I suppose the idea is knight g6 or knight f5, very usual in the French. And then here, I went knight e3, but opponent is computer is screaming for c4, which after c4, let's say d4, we would get bishop d3 and queen to c7. This is some really just obscure computer line. I would never allow c4 never even came to mind. I would not allow him to make a pass pawn like this. This looks ridiculous to me. Anyways, so he played 97, and then I played 93, and with 93, basically, there are some knight b5 ideas at some point, which is why I went for this. But then on the next move, he went knight c6, putting pressure, and then I played f4, which this is a big inaccuracy. Which puts the game back to equal. I was better, but there's a lot of imbalances, and the game is very complicated. So as you guys can see, when I push my pawn, my king opens up. So king h1, and then he can take on a3. And so I didn't see this, but then here I was still feeling good because I'm playing a lower rated opponent. Position is probably equal, and it's very unbalanced, so someone is going to win this game. And since I'm the stronger player, I have the better chances. So opponent castled. So yeah, so this is just very instructive, even if something is not necessarily good. Like this looks pretty bad to play for white. If I was playing this against strong rated opponent, I would get. From a computer perspective, this is holdable, but two humans playing, if I'm playing a stronger opponent, I'm getting crushed in this position probably. Yeah, so I was a bit careless there. I didn't see the tactic with c4 doubling my a pawn, but I do get the b file to work with, and it's an unbalanced position. So opponent castle, and then here I played a very interesting move. I played rook f3, and rook f3. Computer doesn't actually dislike this move, surprisingly, because this looks like a weird move. But my idea with rook f3 was twofold. So I was defending the c3 pawn, and I was also mainly preparing bishop to e3. Yeah, so I was preparing bishop to e3 to target the queen. And then here, so I wanted to go like bishop e3, rook b1, basically, something like that, and like queen c2. Here my opponent blundered with d4, which is just a pawn blunder. Like this just blunders a pawn, but I didn't see that for some reason, and so I took. And then after queen takes, I went for, oh, I should say that if knight takes, this is very uncomfortable after bishop e3. So opponent took with the queen, which is much better. I still went bishop e3, and in the game he traded, so I get the open file. And then my opponent went for, his pawn is targeted, so my opponent went for b5. Yeah, so what I had missed was that my rook was defending my c3 pawn, which is pretty ridiculous because this was one of the reasons why I went there. But I played this move pretty quickly. I played it in like 25 seconds. On bishop e3 we trade. I went a4 here after b5. So idea is, of course, if takes, this looks very good for me. I have targets. These pawns are bad, and I got rid of my doubled a pawn. So of course you don't take here. Opponent went a6 to his credit, which my opponent has made no big mistake besides d4, which I didn't capitalize on. So my opponent is playing a great game. For a 1600 rated player, this is great. I've played 1600 that just lose all their pieces. Like 1600s aren't this strong. Well, basically here I went bishop c5, which is a nice move, just improving my bishop, controlling a lot of squares. And then here he played rook f5, and I assume this is to keep pressuring f4, but this move just looks wrong because now if the knight moves, I can infiltrate on the back rank. He can always drop back though, but I'm not sure why this is not such a good move. But I had calculated this though. I had seen rook d8, and then I was gonna take here, and then I was gonna go rook a3. Yeah, so I actually did see this, so I'm pretty happy. Yeah, so with bishop c5, I was actually expecting rook d8, and then I was gonna take and go rook a3, and now the threat would be take, and then you can't take back because you lose the rook. So let's say we get something like bishop b7. Then I could play like take, something like this maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is good though. Yeah, this is just a draw. I probably would not have went for this, but that's not what happened though. He played rook f5, and then after rook f5, I played rook d6 here, which computer is not a fan of. I had a +2 advantage, so rook d6. Computer really liked rook f1. I don't understand rook f1. Yeah, I don't get it. I went rook d6, so just putting pressure on the pawn. And here he played, oh yeah, so attacking the knight and the pawn. So if you go bishop d7, I take, so only move here is, bishop b7 is the top computer move. But then I take, which I can tell why this move, is a little bit dubious and loses the advantage because my rook is kind of out of play here. But I figured, like, my rooks are just pretty awkward here. Like, you know, like computer says this, and then what if I go like here though? Takes. I mean, I'm up a pawn. Probably that I can win this against a lower rated opponent. Yeah. So he went knight d4 though, which just loses the game on the spot because he offers a knight and a bishop for a rook, and my bishops are extremely strong here. So like this is just crushing. So my opponent played rook to c8, so just preparing to push. And then here, oh no, my opponent did not go for rook c8. Computer wanted rook c8 to prepare pushing. My opponent went rook d8. And then here, yes, so I'm pretty happy I played the top computer move, which is rook d6. And here I had calculated, this looks like white can win a pawn here, but if takes, and takes, I had seen I figured this was probably winning. I have two bishops to support the pawn. I'm gonna bring my king in soon. Yeah, so this would have been winning, yeah. I give up a pawn, but I get an extremely strong and rapid pawn. And I can always sacrifice this bishop. Yeah. So, but that's not what we went into. So my opponent went rook c8. And then I went bishop e3. Just defending the pawn. So that's not what the computer preferred. Computer liked, and I did see this move. I did see bishop d5. But I didn't see what it accomplished. Computer says bishop c3. I guess maybe to go here, just to get a really active bishop pair. And I did see this, and I considered it, but I figured I'll just play bishop e3. I'm up a pawn here. I have two very strong bishops, and he can take here, but then this would be really weak. Also with bishop e3, I got c1, so here he went b4, so just trying to keep pushing. And then I went rook d5, which might look like a weird move. I wonder if I could have took here. So ask the engine. No, engine is still saying bishop d5. So I went, oh, right, sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't go rook d5 here. I missed a skewer before. Yeah, right here, I missed a skewer. I was too focused on bishop e3. But now I get the skewer. And now I just took. And now this is completely winning. I went rook d5 here, idea being rook c5. So my opponent played c3. And then this looks a bit scary. But after rook c5, rook takes c5, and bishop takes c5, and c2, I'm in time with the bishop. And here he played, this is just a winning endgame. I just have to bring my king, win this pawn, and push my own. So we got king f7, I went king g1, king e6, king f1, king d5, king to e2, king c4. I went king d2, and then here he played b3, takes, and I just played king d3. And now here, and I just push. Oh, is this what happened? I went b3 right away, and then here I went king d3, and then we got this, and yeah, this is just winning. And I picked up the pawn, and then just checkmate. So yeah, so this was a pretty instructive game. This was a very clean game actually. I'm very happy with this game. I played with a 94% accuracy. Opponent played well to his credit. Just some tactical oversights. So d4 was definitely a weak move. I didn't capitalize on it though. Pretty happy with rook f3. This was an interesting move and actually proved really useful because this move just wins a pawn here, but I missed it. And then knight d4, and then knight d4 is just completely lost. Yeah. So yeah, and then rook back to c8. My opponent missed bishop g4. So some little tactical oversights, and then conversion was clean in my end. So very happy with this game. I hope this was instructive. and a good example of how to fight against weaker opponents. So by creating imbalances. So I thought this was a really fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found this instructive, and I'll see you guys in the next game.